Like when they request for a woman to video call them, you will be surprised because when the video will be opened, you will just see them naked. You will see them playing, and then that is really a bad experience.
So that happened to you more than once?
More than once,
okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I should leave now.
Because you're my...
You keep going, I'll leave. This is embarrassing.
What?
Go ahead. Hi everyone, and welcome to Coffee with Chrissy. Chrissy, my fiance. I'm Rob. Say hello.
Hi everyone, welcome to Rob's channel, Fly Me to the Philippines.
My goodwill ambassador. So it's Coffee with Chrissy. Welcome. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and enjoy 10 minutes of having your questions answered. The number one question.
Yes.
Chrissy, people want to know, what advice would you give to a Westerner, someone from Australia, America, Canada, Great Britain, Norway, South Korea? What advice would you give? What's the number 1, 2, 3 tips from the Filipinas point of view?
Okay, so as far as this question is really surprising because I don't know that this is your first question for me, but I'm gonna give a tip. First, I think they must try to subscribe in dating app because that is what people do today. But just make sure that the dating app is legit.
So we met on Filipino Cupid,
Yeah.
which may or may not be better than others, but it just so happens the one we met. I've had both good and bad experiences. Have you heard of any other dating apps?
Yes, I've heard, and I actually have tried like more than 3 dating apps online, and then I just found it's well for me. I think it's not really the what do you call this? It's not the dating app. It's the people that you met in the dating app, because it could be the right place to search for the one, but it's not the person that you met that is really right for you.
So it's sort of hit or miss on all the apps.
Yes.
Yeah, I tried Panay Love, I think, years back, and that was what else? That was kind of like the Wild West, but it had potential. You could get lucky. What about Christian Filipina? I hear on some of the other channels, I think they sponsor, or they when people click on links, some bloggers make money. So I'm not sure if it's really a good app or if it's just a money-making opportunity.
Well, I have a friend that they found their husband or their boyfriend in that site. But I also have friends that keep telling me that it's not a good dating app because there's a lot of scammers and just fraud in the app.
Right, so that's one of the things I want to ask you about, because as a man, we know and have experienced what it's like on a dating app, or maybe some of our viewers haven't tried it yet, but it is just crazy because it's the reverse of what in the West. When you get to a certain age, you can get ignored as a man, 60 years old, 65 years old, and then you go on these dating apps in the Philippines or in Asia, and you get bombarded with interest, and it doesn't make sense. Like, why are these women so interested in us older guys? But then the reason we're there is because we've heard it's possible to meet someone like you. But once you're, would you recommend this? If I had just come to the Philippines and let's say you were living, we're here currently in Cagayan de Oro in northern Mindanao. If I had come to northern Mindanao, rented a condo for 30 days, and I went on a dating app and I said, hey, I'm right here in town, how would you have reacted?
Okay, so personally, I would really prefer a person that is currently outside the country, because the Filipino will always think that you are here in the Philippines and you're chatting with that Filipina, and the Filipina will think that you already have met a lot of Filipina in the Philippines and you are just one of those women that he put on the list.
So if I'm already here, you're thinking, oh, well, you know, it's already, I've been off to the races, I may have been out on 5 dates, and I'm talking to you, and I want you to be my 7th or my 8th date.
Yes.
And even if we hit it off, the other 5 or 7 I've already met, and then every time I go to the mall, I'm meeting other Filipinas, and you're thinking it's like, nah, you'd really,
Yes.
you know.
Because it's very different if you are talking with a Filipina while you are in your country. Like, for example, you're in America and you're talking to me. So the Filipina will build this trust that you are really talking to her, and if you plan to go to the Philippines, it's because of me, not because of the other Filipinas in the Philippines.
So what if, you know, because a lot of the vloggers, those who blaze the trail ahead of me and you, they say just get here, get boots on the ground, you know, like, but most of those vloggers met people online when they were here. I mean, there's one I know that met a waitress and turned into a long-term relationship. So if I'm here, you'd be working, and in the Philippines, people work like 6 days a week. Like 10 hours a day minimum, plus getting to the job and getting home. And you know, if you have a job and I meet you at the mall or at Watson's drugstore, or I meet you at the coffee shop and I ask you on a date, when are you gonna be able to go on a date with me? During the weekday or only maybe Saturday night?
Well, it depends on the availability of time, because if the person is working 6 days in a week and maybe she's having a part-time job in the 7th day, so it could be very tough.
Right.
But that's the way how you will know if the Filipina is really into you and really interested, because she will make time even in the tough schedule of her.
Right.
And then if you're already here in the Philippines and you're trying to find a Filipina, it is an advantage also, because you can really meet her right away when you plan to meet. Unlike when you're still in your country, because it will take a lot of months before you will visit the Filipina, because it's very difficult to evaluate or know the Filipina very much if it's just an online. And it is way more better to know a Filipina when you're talking to her, just like we're doing right now.
So when you're in this online environment, and as a man, I got like 400 emails in my first 5 to 7 days. What about you as a gorgeous Filipina? What does your inbox look like?
Oh, my inbox looked like when I was in a dating app. It's just like maybe I receive like 3 to 4 messages a day.
Just 3 to 4 a day?
Yes.
Wow.
And then maybe one of those 4 messages is the only one that is interested.
And
or
what is the average age? I mean, what is the mix of ages of people who are writing?
Because upon subscribing the dating app, you're going to set a bracket, like an age bracket.
And yours was 40 to 60?
45 to, yeah, like
40 to 60.
40 to 60.
And obviously I was 66 when we met, so I'm 67 now. So don't let that roadblock get in your way.
Yeah. So the average age of men that are contacting me is like about 50 to 68 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so when a man's 50 years old from the West, are you suspicious that he's going to come to the Philippines, or are you thinking, you know, he's not retired yet, it's going to be very difficult or very, very risky for you to get into a relationship with somebody who's not retired?
Well, there are really like disadvantage if you will be dating a man that is not retired yet in the US, because part of it is like you have this different time zone,
right.
And if you will be up in your daytime, he will be sleeping, and if he will be up, you will be sleeping.
So it's 12 hours.
Yes.
Right now it's 12 hours time difference to New York and 15 to Arizona.
Yes,
where I'm from.
specifically in USA.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really difficult, but you can really find a man that is really into you if he will really make time even in his busy schedule, and vice versa, because if the Filipina is working, she will do the same if she's really into you.
So, you know, one of the challenges for the guys is the Filipinas have like multiple Facebook pages. We're always suspicious that they really have a boyfriend or they really have a baby, and they, you know, we just can't trust a lot. And you know, so we're like noodling around the Facebook pages. We ask the girl for the Facebook page, 2, 3. We link to other accounts. For you, do you check up on the guy? Do you Google him? What do you do to check up on the guy?
Yes, I always do that. Like I use all of the online platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I even Google the name.
Yeah.
Because it will pop up if there is something with that name. If he is telling you his real name. So you will really know if a guy is really legit, if he's telling you his name and his family name, maybe his middle name, where his workplace is, and you will really see the workplace. And also he will share some private details, like some confidential details about him and his address. So that is one of the I can consider a sign that a guy is really into you and he's very interested with you.
Right. So, you know, men are worried about being scammed. You know, we're worried about people asking for money, or, you know, we're worried that they may be talking to 3 or 4 foreigners at the same time. We're worried that if we, you know, buy them furniture, when we show up, they don't live at the address that the furniture was delivered to. What is a Filipino? Because Filipinas talk about getting scammed, and it's hard for a Westerner to understand what you're talking about.
Well, when we say scam, it's just not about the monetary scamming. It also like for us Filipino, we will be scammed emotionally. You know, like you will be hoping that you are really that the guy is really into you. You will fall in love, and then at the end you will know that he's not dating just one Filipina, but he's dating a lot of girls. And then that is, for me, that is a kind of scam. You were scammed.
Do you feel like when a Filipina talks about scammed, it's not that they were asked for money, but maybe they were asked for photographs?
Oh, about that.
Or sexual video, that kind of content?
It could be. Like, there's a lot of victims. Like, there's a lot of Filipina nowadays that, you know, because Filipina, like, really can easily trust a person. So, that's why they share this like pictures and videos that is inappropriate for a Filipina to send to the person that she haven't met yet, and that would be that should be a caution to all of the Filipinos that are planning to subscribe in any dating app. So
would you, if you had a younger sister and she was telling you that she was going to log on and open an account, what would you warn her that what the landscape would look like? Would she need to be careful when she starts a video chat because it may be crazy stuff going on?
Yes.
Like,
okay,
I don't know what you can say because your parents might watch this, but
yeah. So, based on my experience, because I have subscribed a lot of dating app, because you know I've been trying to find the one app that is really more people that are legit than just posters. And then I'm gonna warn my sister. Actually, my sister is already subscribed in one dating app, and that's why I always advise her that you should profile is really a big impact for a man that is in the dating app. The profile, the picture, and the subscription. Like if it's just what they call that, like a
free subscription.
Free subscription.
What would you say to her once she's, once a man says, you know, give me a WhatsApp number or wants to do video chat? What does she need to be worried about?
She needs to be prepared.
Prepared for what?
She needs to be prepared because some foreigner guy, not just in America and in some other countries too, like when they request for a woman to video call them, you will be surprised because when the video will be opened, you will just see them naked. You will see them playing, and then that is really a bad experience.
So that happened to you more than once?
More than once,
Okay.
yeah.
So when you, now for me, when I would be online, I would see pictures where filters were used. See, like the guys, we don't take pictures with filters on our smartphones and then post them with perfect complexions. But I was seeing, a woman would have like 5 photos, and 4 of them she would be super pretty with a perfect complexion, and one of them she'd be kind of all blotchy. And I had done it enough and learned enough that I knew that, well, that the one picture that was blotchy is probably what she really looked like.
Okay.
But we see so much of these filters that you can't ever trust what you're looking at. And then when the woman says, do you want a video chat? And it's like 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. back in New York. Well, it's 6 a.m. in the Philippines, and she's in bed, and she's so excited that you contacted her, and rather than wait till she gets up and the house is empty and she's ready to talk, she'll ask you to video chat at 6 a.m. and you'll call, and she'll still be in bed with like maybe a child sleeping next to her. Her complexion's going to be potentially not what it looked like on the pictures, and the roosters are going off and the dogs are barking. Why do Filipinas do that?
Okay, so I am not against using filters, because women, we really love to see ourselves being improvised a little bit. Like when we see our pictures, who would be very happy if you will see your pictures very, very ugly? So sometimes we use filter. It's not to fake ourselves. It's not to scam people. Some maybe may do that to scam people, but most of the Filipino will like to really use filter, because we will be happy seeing ourselves prettier than what really we are in person.
So why would a woman video chat from bed at 6 a.m. when she looks like a mess?
Oh, for me, because the first time that I video called
you weren't in bed. You didn't.
Yes, I was in the bed.
You were?
Yeah, I was in the bed.
God, yeah.
Maybe you just find me so beautiful because.
Well, we're the pick of the litter.
The advice for the man is, it is really important for you to request a video call, for you to see what is the real face of the Filipina, and you can compare it to the picture. But always put in your mind that just lower your expectation, because Filipina will always put the best picture that they have. But
when I met Chrissy in person, I was blown away. She was more petite. She was prettier. I was so excited when I met her. I couldn't believe how much, there was a significant, she just looked better. It was like so much better than, and we'd been video chatting for like 3-4 hours a day for months. So I always think people look better in real life than in photos. Some people take great photos, but most people look better in real life. So Chrissy, when a man messages you on these platforms, what do they usually say, and what kind of messages stand out? What did I say?
What did you say is that you're really serious about it, and you find me very attractive, and you're interested, and you want to know me more. So, well, it's not.
Did I mention that you were a college grad? Or I had read your profile. I kind of dropped a reference.
You mentioned that you read my profile and you liked it.
Right.
Okay, so yes, but some of the men online, they will just send you a message without your name on it, and we Filipino, we know that it's just like a ready-made message to every Filipina that they will see online. They will send the same message, and for the one that will just reply, they will go into it.
So I made a small reference that I knew you were a college graduate, and I said I found you interesting, or your profile was well written and interesting, and I would like to get to know you more. Yeah. Something like that. Because I used an artificial intelligence primary profile picture. We mentioned this in one of the other videos, but I actually found an app and I sent in 10 regular photos, and for $5 they sent me back 50 artificial intelligence pictures that made me look all that. I still use it as the picture on some of our thumbnails and for the channel because it's fun. But I don't know why, but I just decided to use it as my primary profile picture. And I knew it was so obviously a kind of fake picture, but the other 4 pictures were real.
Yeah, it was real.
Well, how did you react when you saw this artificial intelligence primary profile picture?
Okay, so when you messaged me, the first message that I got from you, the picture that I saw is the AI picture. And the moment that I'm gonna read the message of the person that will message me, after reading it, before replying, I'm gonna go through its profile. And I saw your real pictures and I compared it to the AI, and I was like, okay, it's real. As long as the AI picture and the real picture is like match, so it's real. And then one advantage that I know that it's real is because I also do AI on my pictures.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So now you're getting a text message and you write back. What do you usually write back if you're interested?
I do really get the WhatsApp number right away.
So you do ask for the WhatsApp right away.
Yes.
Now, you may not know, but in the West, men are sort of warned to beware if a woman, especially a good-looking woman, is asking for your WhatsApp or your Google Chats or your the other one right away, because and there are a lot of women that are very attractive, and no matter who writes them, they ask for Google Chat and Skype and or WhatsApp immediately, and that's a red flag a little bit. So Chrissy was kind of quick to ask for WhatsApp.
Yes.
And I talked about this before, but Chrissy's eyebrows that women go and models have them done, and fashion models and very attractive women who take care of themselves have these done, and they're the ones who are going to immediately ask for your contact information and try and get you into a group. And these Google groups are really dangerous because they're going to get your money, and then you don't even have a cell phone number like you would with WhatsApp. So beware of those. Okay, so when men write to you, you don't write much. You're not into texting a lot back. You just want to get right on the video chat because you've done this. You've done it a few times before, and you found what? That there's just a bunch of unreliable people out there. They're using fake pictures. You think? Mm-hmm. What's your number one reason for getting on video? Because you feel like they're using fake pictures?
Okay, so number one reason is like dating app doesn't support video. It doesn't support video chat. So you will be staying on text, and you will waste your time texting. So my way is like getting your WhatsApp. I want to see if you're real. If you're real, then we can text and text.
Yeah, so if you don't have WhatsApp, it's owned by Facebook. It's an amazing messaging app where you can do live video. Like it's just like Facebook Messenger, but I think it's kind of better. Most of the women that you'll want to meet or you will meet online will have both Messenger and WhatsApp. Now, a lot of the women, they don't want to talk to you on Messenger because as soon as they talk to you on Messenger, there's a Facebook profile linked to Messenger, right? Mm-hmm. So if I say, hey, can I messenger you? Well, now the man can see which profile is linked to that Messenger account. And if she hasn't shut it down or made it private or whatever, you might, as soon as you get off the phone, you might jump right into the profile and see more than she wants you to see. So generally speaking, both men and women don't want to get on Messenger right away because they don't want people to know, because if you're talking to somebody that's troubled, you're better off to start in WhatsApp. It doesn't show there's no associated Facebook profile. Anyway, so you want to get right on Messenger, and then when you're on video chat, okay, you're really trying to sift, sort, and condense out the frauds.
Yes.
And you want to see if the person's good looking. What are you looking for?
Well, good looking is like not really the prior quality that I am looking at in a person.
That's how we met.
But it's just a bonus that you're.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my goodness, we're just like.
Maybe I should leave now.
Because you're my.
You keep going. I'll leave. This is embarrassing.
What?
No, go ahead.
My fiancé leaves me.
Go ahead.
I just found Rob like very appealing, very attractive, and he's very kind. And he is like the very first person ever I had ever chatted that in our like first, second, third day and fourth day of chatting, he never asked to, he never opened a topic that is sensual, sexual. What he always talk about is about life, about positivity, and about having this peace of mind. And I was really, really interested in him because he asked me a lot of questions, and I like a guy that asks me questions. Yeah.
There's my, let me just give you the cash.
Just do it secretly.
Okay.
Under the table.
Yes, thank you for that paid advertisement. So, okay, so now when you first meet somebody, because I've mentioned before, like it's, as a Filipina, these men are in Australia, they're in Canada, they're in England, they're in Norway. They tell you they're planning to come to the Philippines, right? They all say they're planning to come to the Philippines. Now, what's the average? They say they're coming, well, let's get to know each other, I'll plan a trip, or they say I'll be there in 3 months, or they just say I'm planning.
I really didn't have much foreigner friends that I talk online. Maybe just feel like maybe 2 or 3. Some are just like really, really friends. Like we're not really into a relationship. Okay, so one is like he's not really interested at all to come here in the Philippines, but he's interested of sponsoring me to go
Come to America. Okay.
to America. And for me, it's a risk because I'm not a traveler, I'm not an explorer, so I won't prefer that. And then the other one is just like just a total waste of time.
Yeah. So, okay, so you would like when we met, you expected that everybody would want you to come to their home country. You were surprised that I wanted to stay here at least for the first 6-7 years in the Philippines, correct?
Yes.
And so because you had someone you knew in college who got married in their early 20s and moved to America, correct?
Yes.
And so that's your closest experience of somebody who successfully. But you knew other people had married, your mother and your stepmother's sister had married a foreigner, other people.
Yes.
Yeah. So, this is kind of interesting. For me, I was 66 at this point, and most men tend to meet like 22, 23-year-old Filipinas without children is what their target is. And I thought, gee, I'm getting a little old for 22. I'm gonna have to tell my family that I'm dating a younger woman. And I kind of came to the conclusion that, somebody with one child, and Chrissy has a 4-year-old son, and she was married for 1 year, and the marriage was annulled, which is highly unusual here in the Philippines, but it's becoming a little bit more of an option, but it takes usually 1 year's salary of a police officer to pay the lawyer. In the old days, or 5 years ago, you would pay that 1 year's salary, but it would get assigned randomly to different judges, and some of the judges in their entire history had never approved an annulment. So you could pay 1 year's salary, it would get assigned to a judge. In his entire history on the bench, he never approved an annulment. So it was just like money down the trash can. Yeah. In this case, I guess the former president of the Philippines was a proponent of moving the annulment process into like more transparency. And in Mindanao is the province Davao he used to be the governor or the mayor of. And so in southern Davao, where, not southern, but mid-south Davao, it happened, and Chrissy has successfully been annulled from a sort of a brief marriage where her husband was away in the military basically 95% of the time. And so I found Chrissy, I thought it was a highly attractive option, a woman who at the time you were 29, you had a 4-year-old, and I don't want to have more children, at least at this point I don't want to have more children, and that was sort of something we had to discuss, like, because Chrissy, you wanted more children.
If I'll be given a chance, yes.
And so you're gonna find, like, would you agree that 99.9% of all the women on these dating platforms, doesn't matter how many children they have, as soon as they get in a relationship with a Westerner, they want a child, correct?
I don't know about others, but because I only have one child, and so when Rob and I met, we already talked about it, that he doesn't want to have a child, and I was like thankful that I already have a child, because if I don't have, then I'm gonna pursue him to have another child. So because I already have a child, that issue becomes very negotiable between us.
Right. A lot of guys are dating women in their early 20s, and I've seen some on all the different vlogs that have, dated for a year or two, a woman in their mid 20s, early 20s, and this issue of wanting to have a child can sometimes break these couples up because the men just don't want to have a child. There are examples, several examples of very happy couples, men who've been married, up to 10 or more years and have 1 or 2 children. It seems like the vast majority of men who marry Filipinas and stay in the Philippines long term tend to have a child. So in our case, I pursued Chrissy, and I thought she was in the sweet spot, someone who already had a child, and like she said, it's kind of negotiable. In her heart, she'd like to have another child. We love each other, and the thought of having a child together does have its moments where we think about it, but it's not practical, and it's hard enough to keep your family members at home, to stay with you, and you're hoping over time things get better and they understand and they grow to see you're happy, you're living your best life. If you're going to have a child and bring a stepchild into their life, it's going to be more difficult. You run the risk of losing what you already have in your life. So, Chrissy, in the online dating app, I've said, it's kind of common for a Filipina not to put all her eggs in one basket. And for men too, they typically will think in their mind, okay, well, I'll go to the Philippines for a month and I'll fly to Manila and I'll meet girl 1, and then I'll go to Cebu City and I'll meet girl 2, and then I'll fly to Surigao and meet girl 3, and then I'll catch El Nido for a vacation and I'll bring the one I like the best there. And if I go to Manila and the one in Manila knocks my socks off, I'll just cancel 2, 3, 4. But men, in their mind, I think they think this way, because you don't want to just, it's like, you do want to sift, sort, and condense, find the best prospect, and it's hard online to know if you're really talking to somebody real. When you're first video chatting with somebody and it goes well on day 1, day 2, you're on your 3rd or 4th day, you're really starting to connect. You're still talking to other Westerners at that point, right?
Oh, but with the other guy?
I mean, the average Filipino.
I don't know about the others, because I don't really ask questions from those person who have this dating app. But me personally, I started to be like really one man, woman online, So I started to be like really faithful and loyal, but at the end you will just find out you were just wasting of time, and then you will learn that if you only have opened your door more wider to many person, maybe you can really pick the person that you think is really into you. Because if you're just going to focus with only one, you will be focusing just into her or him. Then if the basket will fall, all of the eggs inside it will be
yes,
cracked.
it's like juggling, and you don't want, it's our musical chairs. You don't want to be left without a chair. So it's really challenging. And when I met Chrissy, I was like, oh my God, this can't be real. I need to risk it all. I need to stop 100%, focus on this opportunity, but I'm going to run the risk of getting hurt because I'm going to become attached. And what if she's talking to other men? And what if, I'm just one of 3 that she likes, and it turns out I'm number 2, and then I'm left with nobody. Well, I figured, okay, I'm planning to go to the Philippines anyway. Nothing, it was like $90 to get a 3-month subscription. it wasn't the end of the world. And I figured, what the heck, I'll just do it. And if I end up with an empty basket, I'll just go to the mall and, I figured what I would do is I'd go to Dumaguete, where there's a big expat population, meet the other Western guys, and their girlfriends would introduce me to their friends, and that's probably the best way to do it. But you've got a small population, and now you're stuck in Dumaguete, and you may not want to live there. And we've been to Dumaguete, and it does have lots of advantages. There's but that's another video for another subject, where to live. So when we started to focus, maybe 7 days, 10 days, it became obvious, because we were video chatting 4 hours a day. So it became obvious there couldn't be enough time in your day to have much, my strategy was just to crowd out the hours of the day where you could be chatting with anybody else.
Yeah.
But after 7 to 10 days, until we met, which was 2 months later, or 41 days later, there just weren't enough hours in the day. Now, if you're working and you can't be chatting all the time, like me, I was on vacation, so I had time to chat, and I was on a cruise ship for 21 days, so I had time with bad internet to chat, video chat. But that gave me a lot of confidence. How about you?
Yes, and me too. My work just ended, so I am really, really free during those times. That's why I had a lot of time to talk to you. But when I met Rob, and I knew him, and I kind of like him, and I knew his plans, because he presented it to me like, ever I'm gonna like him, and then we'll be like living together. So he presented how it is his life plan, and I also presented mine, and it kind of matched. So I was like, I just don't wanna ruin this kind of relationship that we had, because we are like we're not just boyfriend and girlfriend, we're like best friends. Like, we have built this relationship being friends before we get into like a boyfriend girlfriend relationship, and I like that.
And it was a challenge to be long-term relationship. It was really a challenge. And when you get, and I had to go back to America for 18 days, and I just got back 6 days ago, a week ago, Monday, it was a week ago. And it was like, oh my God, I'm back in a long-term relationship. And it was yucky. It was just awful compared to the real relationship. It was just, and you know what, when I came back to the Philippines and Chrissy met me at the airport, I'm like, oh my God, you're so much prettier, you're so much cuter, you're so much more petite. So when I got back from America, it like happened all over again. I saw Chrissy at the airport. She was so much prettier, so much more petite, so much cuter than like the person that we were long distance chatting. It happened all over again. So that was crazy. So this long distance relationship is really challenging, and I know that I did it, and a lot of people are doing it. My advice is to get to the Philippines as soon as possible. If you stay 30 days, when you go back, it's just going to revert right back to what it was, that long distance relationship. It just goes back to this, you're stuck on third base. It's not a home run. When you're here, oh my God, I can only tell you, I'm so glad that I invested all the time. I watched all the YouTube. I made the trip to the Philippines in 2020 in February for a week before they shut down for COVID. I put the effort in. I mean, it was 2 unsuccessful efforts online and 1 trip to the Philippines. And I thought to myself, I'm 66, I'm getting older. If this is gonna happen, it better happen now. And I decided I'm gonna just get online. At the end of this 60, 70 days of travel, I'm gonna go to the Philippines and give it, 6 weeks, and I'm gonna give it a real try. I can tell you, it's worth doing. Now, there's all kinds of best practices, but the problem is that it's like until you find your Filipina, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a scammer. It's gonna be a letdown. You're gonna be number 2 and she's gonna pick number 1. You're gonna be left with all your eggs on the floor broken. You may have to go through quite a bit of disappointment. But if you have a pension, if you have a work situation where you can be a digital nomad and you can get here, what you've heard, what you're hearing from me, what you've heard from others, what it's like to be in a relationship with a Filipina, because they have this very, very caring, loving approach to men that is hard to find in the West, and is very, very appealing. And I've never been happier, never. I just wish my family was kind of more familiar with the lay of the land. I don't blame them, because to them it's just coming out of like left field. They're just living their life one day. Dad's coming to visit the grandchildren, and like boom, I'm moving to the Philippines with a younger woman. So with me, I was spending years watching YouTube. Every day I watch 2 or 3 YouTubes. I hear the best practices. I get to meet the girlfriends online. I'm thinking, oh wow, that's an interesting woman that this guy's dating. I'm seeing them go to the waterfalls. I'm seeing them get married. For me, like, I've spent thousands of hours back in the West familiarizing myself with what's possible. And, I stepped up to the shore and I dove in a couple of times. I hit my head on rocks. I got scammed a little bit. I got, really disappointed and gave up a couple of times. So my advice is not to give up, and to give yourself an appropriate amount of time here on the ground. So my strategy was, give yourself 90 days and keep opening, keep writing the emails back, don't send anybody any money. Maybe occasionally, if you're video chatting and an hour a day, you got to give them a little load money for video chats if they don't have Wi-Fi. And even if they do have Wi-Fi, they may have to pay for it with coins at a meter. Put up with all the chickens in the background, and put up with what you have to. Because it's possible. There are people here who've done it. I've done it, and from Chrissy's point of view, to the Filipinas watching, there's an opportunity for Filipinas to meet Western men.
Yes.
Because there's a population of Filipino women and a population of Western men, and South Korean, Asian men, things like that are really interested in finding a way to meet. And I don't know why it's so hard, but if you're willing to fight your way through it,
yes.
What other advice do you have?
Well, you're right. Like, they should make an effort to visit right away the Philippines, because I'm gonna tell you that the love affair in the cyber world and in the real world is really, really different, because it is really different in a way of the affection, because in the cyber world you can only give your affection, show your affection through the live chats, through the texting. And one of the advantage is, if you will come here in the Philippines and visit your Filipina, and then you will find out that you really don't match in person, at least you did not waste a lot of time waiting.